We are live. Welcome back to the Underdog Jets Podcast with Wayne Chrebet, number 80. Wednesday, the week leading into the Buffalo game where the Jets are 5-3, coming off the heels of a tough loss. Again, it's Belichick. And now Zach Wilson is hearing a lot of noise, understandably so, based on the 3 picks. Let's see what Mr. Wayne Chrebet has to say about it.
Yeah, tough one. I know we've had some good string of wins lately, but I was at the game. The crowd was phenomenal. The crowd came out and they were in it. They were in it the whole game, and I think we're going to go back to that roughing the passer.
Yeah.
We get that touchdown. We're up 17-3, and it's a different game. But yeah, Zach had his struggles. Everybody knows that. But as far as I know, he's still the starter, and I believe he should be.
Yeah, I mean, he should still be the starter. The surprising news that's kind of flying under the radar is they promoted Mike White to number 2.
Yeah.
And Flacco told the media it kind of took him by surprise. There was not a specific reason for it. Saleh gave. It is interesting. I mean, if White is playing that well in practice, and sometimes it comes down to maybe they think Mike White's a better in uniform backup too. I mean, it all comes down to that as well. So, any read on that, Wayne, at this moment?
No, listen, earlier in the week, I was talking about Zach and just saying, no, it's the learning process. He's only played in 18 games. But Mike White's the same kind of guy. Mobile, can get out of the pocket, which they've needed. I know that they're getting upfield a lot on us in the Pats game, and Buffalo's going to be coming too. But Zach Wilson is our franchise quarterback, and I think he's just going to get better. Tough one this week, but as far as Mike White being backup, I don't think he's going to get in the game unless something really bad happens to Zach.
Yeah, and this is going to sound crazy, but Wilson, it looked like he was careless out there, right?
Yeah.
I kind of think his problem right now is being too careful, and it's going to sound crazy, but what does he rely on? What does he fall back on? That Fran Tarkenton scrambling type stuff, right? Where he sees the rush coming, he wants to make something happen, go crazy. If he were to just trust his arm more, trust his reads more, because we've seen him, anticipate throws. That Conklin touchdown was anticipation, led him to the pylon. It was beautiful. If he trusts his reads more and trusts his arm and knows his arm's not going to make a mistake, that's where I think he's falling into the desperation stuff after that, not trusting himself earlier in the process.
Yeah. Another thing is just from being there and seeing the plays develop a couple of times, I think he should have tucked it and ran.
Yeah, that too.
Or maybe he can get the first. But you see him roll out and hit that deep one to Garrett Wilson, and you see it. You know it's there. And that throw to Conklin, you see it. That's a tough throw. In any stadium with the wind or whatnot, that's a pro throw. It's just the ones where it just needs to give up on a play. Punt, live to fight another day. It gets rid of those, easily avoidable mistakes, and they're going to be in a lot of ball games.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think it's as dire and as alarmist as the box score would tell you. Like the 3 picks. Yes, were they bad picks? No question about it, especially the last 2. But it's not as dire because we've seen what he could do. We know he can do it. He's just hot and cold. He's up and down. He's a light switch that gets turned on and off, and that can be fixed. He just needs that confidence and trust in himself. And once he finds that trust in himself, I think he really will get humming.
Yeah, it's he's got all the talent in the world. He's got big expectations. The team does, but he has for himself too. He's a hard worker. It sucks because we had a chance to be playing for first place this week, but we are 5-3.
Yeah,
and it's nice when you see the playoff picture and you see the Jets helmet up there and 5th seed, and so we got to remember that.
Yeah.
As tough as we want to be on the team, I love what Coach Sal and Joe Douglas are doing. Defense is phenomenal. We'll talk about that. They just need to put, they need a perfect, complete game this week versus Buffalo, and there's no reason they can't beat them.
Yeah, and remember, folks, the loss of Breece Hall, huge. The loss of AVT, just massive. I really thought he was the heart and soul of this team, and still is, even though he's not in uniform. And when you lose, and you didn't have Corey Davis either. This offense has been going through tackles left and right all season. So to consider they're 5-3 with that situation, the starting quarterback missing 3 games, their tackles up and down, the receivers, a disgruntled receiver, 2 guys asking for trades. Things could be a lot worse. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, like I said, man, on Monday, I did a show and I was just saying, it's just such a weird feeling to be in this situation where you said we'd be 5-3 at this point. After the Baltimore game, the first game of the year, everybody would have took it. So we got a little carried away with how good we're doing, but that's good. Spotlight's off us, and we got nothing to lose going forward. And like I said, these guys will be ready for this game this week. I know Coach Sal will have them ready.
Let me ask you this: the roughing the passer. Let's get a little old school mentality. Should that have been roughing the passer?
No, I was down in the tunnel getting ready for the Brickashaw's Ring of Honor ceremony. And I saw that we scored and there was a flag. And I was like, all right. And I didn't see till later in the third quarter. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I could see hitting him in the head or hitting him below the knees. But
was that it? No, that wasn't it.
No, that's the other one. It just
makes no
sense. Basically, they said he hit him too hard.
Yes. And that's absurd.
They got to protect the moneymakers, the quarterback, the face of the league. Seriously, man. This is getting kind of silly. I'm all for protecting defenseless players. But as far as someone who sees it coming and he didn't finish him off, he didn't land on him. He didn't hit him hard at all. Nothing too aggressive. So that's a big turning point. I think we get that. We win the game. I'm sorry. We got another whole half to play, but up 17-3. I don't think we lose that game.
Here it is. I mean, what a move to the inside. Listen, he didn't hit him that hard. I understand protecting the quarterbacks, but that is when someone says he hit him after release the ball, the marker is never after the quarterback releases the ball. You can't ask a guy playing 100 miles an hour to stop on a dime like that. You just can't. It's impossible. Was it a little tiny hair late? Sure. But this is football. You can't hold up. And he didn't even hit him hard. He held up at the end. So I agree with you. I think it's a terrible call. And I'd be saying the same thing if it was on the Pats.
Yeah, it's stupid. And I'm just trying to look at the timing of when the guy threw the flag. It was intercepted already. So the kind of guy knew the outcome of the play already.
Mm-hmm.
But let me, I know Franklin Myers had another bad one earlier in the year, but
ooh, nice little.
I don't get it, man. I could see if he hit him high and Lawson hit him low, but that's not the case. It's just a little shot to the shoulder. I mean, it's a little stupid, man. So it's amazing how these refs can control the outcome of the game that severely.
Yeah. And the problem is when you're coaching, you don't want to kill. Listen, I understand accountability, but when you try to think accountability in this situation, you screw your team up. You can't ask a guy to not go at 100 miles an hour. I understand the NFL protecting quarterbacks, but going to this extent will get more guys injured when they half-ass it this way. When they half-ass it because of the penalties.
You can't run full speed at 280 pounds and just stop.
Yeah, no, you can't.
It's impossible. They're going to be tearing their legs up and their ankles and their knees, trying to adhere to the rules. But as long as you don't land on them, you get your arms up or bury them, I think you should be able to hit them, man. It's crazy.
Look at this. Here's the official, the ref right here. Hit right there. He doesn't reach for the flag. Reaches for it as soon as he sees the pick. I mean, what can you do? What can you do? You got to overcome it. You got to try to overcome it. You got to keep coaching to overcome it and get mad. But I just don't agree with the call. I don't care which team it is.
Let me see some of these questions. Eagle Fang 86. I think it was more Zach Wilson than Belichick. I think it was a combination. They're having Belichick's getting Zach to audible out of plays to a play that Belichick knows they're going to run. It's the same plays over and over, and he's just bringing the guy down. They make the switch. They switch back. But Zach, on those throws, if he could eliminate those and just throw it in the stands, Belichick doesn't look as good as he does. So it's a combination of both, but it's just avoidable mistakes from Zach. that
Yeah, I
I
agree.
certainly know he can improve on.
Here's the last pick, and this is what I mean by he's just not. He's being too careful. I think he's being, as crazy as it sounds, too much of a team player where he needs to be in rhythm more. Okay, 5 steps, plant, let it rip, trust your eyes, trust your arm, trust your read. And if he's trusting everything, instead of his mind moving at 100 miles an hour, he sees this crosser right over the middle with Jeff Smith.
Yeah.
But he's not trusting. And this is a blatant example. Not all of them are this easy, obviously, but that's just an example. So when you're not trusting yourself, you're going to lean on what feels natural, and that's his legs, and that's scrambling.
Yeah. He's just trying to force it. A lot of times he's got the underneath guy or the guy in the flat, and he just does not get it. He's trying to make the big play, and that works for you sometimes, and it's great. But you just can't force it every time. You got to pick your spots.
Yeah, Elijah Moore played. He was back in the lineup. Didn't see the field all too often. I think he finished with 1 target, if I remember correctly. When asked after the game what the deal is, he just said, "I don't know. I don't get the ball." Something to that effect. Mims, how about Mims? Mims had a pretty good day. He took advantage of playing time.
Yeah, he had a couple catches. This is how opportunities come for people. So what happened, Braxton? This guy's out, this guy's hurt. Whatever it may be, and maybe this is, a turning point for Denzel Mims. But I think Garrett Wilson's the number one. I think that's without a doubt. But at some point, they're gonna have to give the ball to Elijah. Well, that trade talk kind of went away. I know he wasn't too keen on answering the questions they asked him, but yeah, he hasn't seen the ball. He's just stating fact.
Yeah, no, I think he handled the after the game pretty well.
Yeah,
and the question about Zach and Belichick, they played really loose in the first half, where the Jets had room running and there was stuff underneath, and Zach was taking advantage. But in the second half, they just started blitzing and then playing man, and they were just daring the Jets to beat him over the top, and they just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and when the Jets came, New England came out with the no huddle.
Yep.
In the second half, they started going right down the field on us every drive and couldn't do nothing about it. So the adjustment wasn't there. They made the adjustment, we didn't.
Yep.
But we're not many plays away from winning that game. Not at all. You can count on one hand. Specifically going in up 17-3 at the half, the way that when that happened, just the crowd just got out of it, and you can't blame them. They just got deflated in the second half, and they kept fighting. But wasn't meant to be. But this week's a whole different animal, man. Buffalo, if you've seen them play, they are off the charts good. And the pressure they bring from up the front and on the outsides, gonna have to figure out what to do with that.
Tom Caltronio asks, at this point, do you think Zach Wilson can help the O-line more than they can help him? Seems like he's scrambling into pressure rather than stepping up and avoiding it, and miss some running opportunities. Yes, often he doesn't step up into the pocket when he needs to.
He steps up, but he gets happy feet, and he always wants to get out of there. And sometimes he's got that escapability to where he can, reverse field or get out of there. At some points, like I said, if he just steps up and reads man, and these guys have their back to him, why not just take off?
Yeah.
Take off, get the first and slide, or I would like them to roll him out more to begin with, so he can pass throw. But there's a lot of things they could do to help out the O-line, but they got to get back to receiver screens and jet sweeps and screens to the running back, just something quick that they can get the ball out of his hands.
Berrios too. I'm surprised Berrios wasn't more involved in this game, considering how well he and Zach meshed last year.
Yeah. But then again, Elijah and Zach meshed. But yeah. I think Zach's favorite guy's been Corey Davis from the start.
Yep.
But they got to find more ways to get. Well, they're getting the ball to Garrett Wilson, but the Braxton, Elijah, and maybe they put some plays in for Mims. But I still think Michael Carter is a great running back, and the kid Robinson. I've followed him since he was a rookie. He can make a lot of plays. So they definitely got to get their running game going, because they're not going to score 25, 30 points on Buffalo, they're gonna have to take the air out of the ball a little bit and keep the defense off the field.
Yeah, James Wighouse, who writes for us, he's a former quarterback, says he needs to string plays together, Zach Wilson. Find a rhythm and flow from there. Zach can make your jaw drop on one play, but then the next play, it's tough to watch on to Buffalo. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a confidence thing. He needs to get into rhythm, confidence, trust. And it's a tricky thing if you're LaFleur and Saleh because you want him to get into that rhythm, but at the same time, you know you have the team to win if you play it safe.
Yeah, well, you don't want to put the shackles on him.
No.
You can't like limit the playbook. But like you said, maybe some plays, you take the read progression out of it and you give him one or two options and just get the ball on time. But let the kid make plays with his legs, get him in space. But you can't like completely just go back to not throwing the ball. We threw the ball 40 times and ran it 15 or so. I mean, that's not a recipe for winning.
What do you think? What do you think about LaFleur? What do you think about the job LaFleur's done?
I think he's doing a fine job. I just think that we heard a little bit about him the last 4 weeks, and it just didn't work out, and we couldn't move the ball. So you can hear more about that. But that's the thing: the offense coordinator and the quarterback are just going to get all the bad press. That's expected. But there's no reason they can't go out there and do something against Buffalo. I was joking about, how hard it would beat them if they could beat them earlier the week. They can beat this team. Yeah, everybody's beatable, and it's just a matter of playing a perfect game against a very good team, and the defense has to, come up big.
Yeah, and it's at home, folks. It's a divisional game at home. I know Buffalo's a tremendous team, but they're missing one of their two safeties. I always forget which guy got hurt. I think it was Hyde who got hurt, and they still have Poyer. That safety tandem I thought was the best in the league. With one of them being out, it drastically changes their coverage. Still great coverage, like the Jets. But, hey, it's a divisional game at home. You go in there expecting to win, especially if you're a 5-3 team.
Can we talk about how good the defense is?
Yes. I mean, absolutely. First of all, Sauce. First of all, that touchdown. The touchdown where they PFF pinned it on Sauce, but the slot receiver I forget if it was the slot or the outside receiver started blocking one of the corners. I think it was Sauce right away, as if it was a screen, but yet it wasn't a screen. Do you know what I'm talking about, that play?
I heard about it. I didn't see it.
Let me see if I can find it. Because to me, this is offensive pass interference every time because it's just not a screen. It's not a traditional screen where you could say, okay, you can get away with blocking there.
Yeah. Some people refs call it one way or the other. They got to be consistent with that.
Yeah. And Belichick's the master. Listen, he knows
the rub play, the pick play, or the rub play, they call it.
Yes. Yeah. Pick on defense calls it pick. Offense calls it rub for obvious reasons.
Somebody said both safeties are out for Buffalo.
Is Poyer out too? That's right. Poyer did get hurt. Yeah. I don't know if he's officially ruled out, but I'll take the commenter's word for it. Here's the play. So we got motion, and then it's a receiver starting in the backfield. See, Sauce just gets taken out.
That's offensive pass interference,
isn't it? It's blatant.
Jesus Christ.
It's blatant. It's not a screen, and you could only get away with this if the guy catches it behind the line of scrimmage.
That's stupid.
Right?
Like his hands are extended.
It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
He's not even trying to get open.
It is. It's beyond. And PFF dinged Sauce on this, which at first I thought it was miscommunication from where I was watching it up top, but then I saw the replay. I'm like, oh my goodness.
You got to at least make believe you're going out for a route.
Yeah.
Like slam into him and then just turn, put your hands up. You're getting
tight end engage right there. He clearly engages.
That's stupid. That's Patriots getting the call.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
And it's not a screen. He catches it in the flat beyond the line of scrimmage. Yeah. And on screens, technically, it still is pass interference, I believe, by the letter of the law. But if you catch it near the line of scrimmage, they let it go. And I understand. But that's OPI.
You got to let it go, man. So that people are talking about the Sauce and Diggs matchup. I'm not sure where Diggs lines up. They're not going to mirror him, but where Diggs lines up, that could be a great battle. I know Diggs had a great battle with the kid from Green Bay, and they got at it verbally. I wonder if Diggs is going to go at Sauce with all the smack talk like he did this past week.
Yeah, that'll be interesting too, because Gabe Davis is no slouch either on the other
Right.
side. So will they shadow Sauce with Diggs, or will they just play it straight up? That'll be something to watch for sure.
He's not. He doesn't move. Sauce.
Rarely. There's been very few plays, but yeah, you're right. Very rarely. They play it left and right.
Yeah. Here's something interesting from Mike. Interesting paradox with Zach. He doesn't float the ball. The arm is strong, so he has to hang on to it longer to properly time the depth of his pass. That's the thing. He knows he has a strong arm.
Yeah.
So the anticipation's not there. And sometimes he's counting on the fact that he can drive the ball there when someone's out of the breaks. And it's too late. You got to throw them into being open. You can't throw it as soon as you see them open.
That's a great point.
Yeah, you can't stay open, forever. The quarterback's got to run you out of your breaks, throw it to you. But yeah, he knows he has a strong arm and he uses it.
Yeah, that is absolutely a great point. He can do it, put touch on the ball, but we rarely see him put touch on the ball to a strong degree. You know what I mean? Like he anticipates extremely well. It's just some of them he just doesn't have enough touch.
Yeah, he doesn't have the touch on the intermediate routes.
Yeah, like this one right here, this play action. Does he boot here, or is it just a play action? Uzama, nope, just a play action right here. He knows this vertical is going to carry the guy. If he puts touch on this ball and leads Conklin a little bit here to the sideline and out, he could have something.
Yeah,
but he just zooms it in there, and the underneath corner peels off.
Yeah, I mean the corner's got his back to Zach. I mean, so he could have put it anywhere. The corner's got his back.
And this is one of those where, yes, you're running a vertical and an out, but Conklin's head is turned here. So if you're a quarterback and you just loft it a little bit right here.
I actually would expect to throw him upfield more.
That's what I mean.
The problem's coming from the corner chasing.
Right.
Because the outside guy takes care of that safety.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just them being on the same page.
Yeah. Can you see my mouse?
It's like a scissors route. Conklin should be going towards the 45.
Corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if
that safety can't cover the outside receiver Conklin. So he should separate himself from that corner that's going to get underneath it.
And the concept worked great. Like, watch the Patriots defense bite on the plat because the Jets were running the ball early. Well, so watch them bite. Everyone's gone. Everyone's in the box. So the concept works perfectly. But that's the thing. And this comes with time where you get to like next level quarterbacking and offense where the weapons and the quarterback are on the same page. Mahomes knows it's going to be an out, but Mahomes and Kelsey may veer it off upfield and drift upfield a little more, and adjust on the fly.
Hey, do they do instant replay on roughing the passer? No, right?
No instant replay.
What about the interception where the guy's knee was out of bounds? Why didn't they?
That's a good question. I didn't see a good angle on that, so I still don't know if he was out of bounds or not.
The picture I saw on social media looked like plainly his knee was out of bounds. I don't know why they didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. That was McCourty, right?
Somebody said Conklin runs a bow route there. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think Zach kind of threw it and kind of changed the way Conklin had to run it. Mm-hmm. I would stay high and let the quarterback throw you to the sideline instead of forcing the quarterback to throw it almost out of bounds because you came out of it too flat.
Right. Here's the interception. So they get him on the run. There's really nothing open. Let's see. Let's go back. The McCourty interception. Look at how aggressive. This is when they started adjusting to a lot more aggressive stuff, the Pats. Although they get the two safeties deep here. I know they go one high, so they're aggressive, really aggressive, playing underneath. Wilson, there's really nothing. Just got to throw it away here. Is McCourty in bounds?
You'd have to see the slow-mo.
Yeah, you can't tell. It's just impossible to tell. We're too far away.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was no good angles from the broadcast I saw upstairs, and sometimes I just don't see the replays.
This guy said that INT, he has 2 wide open receivers. He ignores to do that. Listen,
Well, and that last
you're
one,
running from 260-pound guy, and everything's going crazy. I mean, some quarters back. I'm sure he sees it, but it's not that easy to just on the run, thread the needle and something like that. Just like I said, throw it out of bounds, punt, live to fight another day. The way the defense is playing, snoring.
yeah, I heard that.
It's my dog.
Dog his dreams.
Yeah, just don't do it. You got to stop doing that. It's a rookie mistake.
Yep. CD asked, is anticipation no longer there because of a lack of trust or chemistry? I think it's both. Wilson's not trusting himself right now, and chemistry in terms of he's been in and out of the lineup for twice now over his first 2 years. So I think it's both.
Well, it's just he's getting chemistry. Obviously, with Conklin now, Zuma hasn't made many plays, and maybe it's with Denzel. Garrett Wilson, obviously, is Corey Davis back?
It's still up in the air for this week.
Yeah, so I think just getting him back. Listen, Brees Hall going down AVT, that's massive.
It's
losses
huge.
there. I know they didn't make any moves, with the trade deadline or anything like that, but they got the guys. They got the guys they need, and they just got to stay healthy, and they're just going to grow and get better and better as the season goes.
Yeah, Corey Davis did not practice today. Dwayne Brown, Herbig, Joyner, and Uzama were limited. Max Mitchell, I think, is eligible to come off IR this week. We'll see. We'll know by tomorrow, I think, whether they activate him or not.
Yeah, this is interesting. People don't realize, there's a statistic. Who's the best quarterbacks against the blitz?
Mm-hmm.
He's good. The problem is these teams aren't blitzing. They're getting there with their front four. Usually when a linebacker blitz or stunts or something like that, there is a clear void that the quarterback just needs to find. That's not the case. They have 7 guys back.
And Belichick a few times brought overload pressure, but not really pressure, just 4-man rush, but overloaded it to one side and still had 7 in coverage.
Yeah. So there's this a lot more to who's throwing versus pressure, if it's actually a blitz or just upfront pressure.
Yeah. And the way to get Belichick and defenses not to do that is to keep it in second and manageable, third and manageable, because you can't do that and just play the pass.
Yeah.
So that's the key too.
You got to have positive plays on first and second down too, so you can use your whole playbook.
Yeah. When you get to third and long, defensive coordinators are going to go crazy and no, you're not going to run. So you just overload one side.
Yeah, they're just going to pin the ears back and just come flying up the field.
And the one trade the Jets did make, they traded Jacob Martinez to Denver and a 2023 fifth rounder and got a 2023 fourth rounder. It frees up money, but more than that, it allows Bryce Huff to play a lot more. And Bryce Huff's been awesome on the edge, coming in pass situations, bumping JFM to the inside. Jermaine Johnson's coming back. Michael Clemens can get more time now, so their D-line is still humming.
Yeah, listen, we got into the defense. Sauce, tremendous. Reed's doing really well. Mosley's on every play. Quincy Williams is coming out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan.
You love Quincy.
And Quan. I love Quan Alexander.
Yeah, Quan is great too.
Hits. Quinnen's up there. Franklin Myers had the penalty, but you can just go down the list. These guys some of them are just superstars, and some of them are just, playing over their head because they work hard. The system works with them. And they're going to keep the Jets in a lot of games because of that. Listen, Zach's not going to throw for over. This was the first game with 300 yards. He's not going to do that. If he does, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
So we're going to rely on the defense. Special teams was really bad. Missing that field goal was tough, and punt, shank punt. I don't want to get into special teams, but they need to, do their thing. I know Braxton didn't have any chance to do any big returns. But some of those times, I mean, we got the ball inside the 20 because of kickoff returns instead of letting it go in the end zone. But, that's him just trying to make a play. I believe in him, and I believe he could return one for a touchdown this week.
Your voice, I hear it in your voice. You just want to get on the field and play. I could hear you itching to get on the field right now and play.
Hey, listen, I can't do it.
But you want to. The will is still there.
Yeah, I'm just being there and watching it and hear the crowd. Being on. Let's talk about Brick being on the field with the Brickishaw. When he's getting put in the Ring of Honor. It's just happy for him. Great pro, great guy, great player, great symbol of the Jets organization. But just walking on the field again just does something to you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brick's speech was pretty good too. It was just matter of fact, got up there, said his thing, and it was done. Just kind of like his career. It resembled his career. Workman-like, boom, I'm here, I'm sturdy, over.
Yeah. So, just a phenomenal guy. So happy for him. I know we have one more Ring of Honor for Revis. I know we're doing 3 separate games this year. Here we go. See, if Jets had just doubled Hudon, it would have been enough. What are your thoughts on that? I don't know. I didn't get a chance to focus too much on that. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's tough to double a D end all the time. You don't want to limit your offense by keeping the tight end in too often. You have to chip with the tight end, chip with the running back. I thought they were okay. I think the problems came down to maybe getting away from the run a little bit too much and just Zach not trusting himself. If Zach trusts himself and he's in the right headspace, they win that game, I think. Yeah,
like I said, you can point to small things here and there. The big things are the bad throws that go for picks, bad penalties. These are things that are avoidable, but it's just little things here and there. They're just inches off or a playoff. Like you said, you get the roughing the passer. That's a big thing, and then you get the offense pass interference. These are 2 massive plays,
huge,
that the refs missed. And listen, someone said you can't make excuses. These are pretty good excuses. They still have to play the other, 59 minutes. I understand.
Yeah, but it's not one or the other. It could be both. Yeah. What did Lavernia say about Zach?
No, he just, just believes that he's better than that.
Yeah.
There's just, he's in his second year. He shouldn't be making those plays, plays like that. And we all agree. And I don't mind speaking up about it because you can't be mad at me. It's fact.
No, Zach would say it to himself. Zach is saying it to himself.
Right. I'm not saying anything surprising.
No.
Can you debate me?
No.
Who can debate me on the fact that those interceptions were avoidable and just very, very bad plays?
Terrible plays. And the first one was still a bad play, but you understand a misfire. The first one over the middle where he floated it, but the other 2 were just egregious.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm a Jets homer, Jets truther. I believe in my team. I believe in all of them. I think Joe Douglas has the right squad. I think they have the right coordinators, and certainly Coach Sal is the right guy for our team. He's a great guy for a New York team. And it's going to be a big reason they win. And, they didn't make any really big trade moves, but I think they have the guys in that building that can, still, if we win, go 5-4, we're probably in the playoffs. I mean, we still got a big chance.
Oh, yeah.
To go to the playoffs. Yeah.
Absolutely. Get your questions in. Last call here. We got I just saw a good one. Wayne, what can the receivers do to make life easier on Zach?
Catch everything he throws, man. Just get open and understand that he's going to scramble. He's going to scramble, and the receivers have scrambling rules. It's like the closest one goes deep. They all start coming back to the quarterback. They just have to keep their eyes open because if he takes off, there's holes out there. And the biggest thing is not far as the receivers. They know they have to get open, catch the ball, but Zach tucking the ball and running for first downs and uses his legs instead of trying to force it. But if he does force it, these receivers got to make a play.
Yep. Thank you, Jacob Finnegan, for that. Here's another one. Why is Zach tripping? No. Yeah. Why is Zach tripping out? He's better than this. I agree, Kamal. Can Zach fix his foot mechanics, as in stop fading away during the season? This is always an age-old question. Can the mechanics be fixed? You mentioned happy feet, which is clearly there when the pressure comes at him. Can that be fixed in season?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're always working on stuff. They watch film. They understand what they're doing. But I think that almost helps him with the touch. Like some quarterbacks just do that. They feel comfortable with that. It's not like he's not stepping up because the pressure's in front of him. That's how he likes. Sometimes they can drop it in there better, just kind of like a little fadeaway. They don't always have to step into and drive it there. Sometimes it's better. So, listen, he was the number 2 pick in the draft because of what he's done. And he has all the tools. He's just got to perfect them. And like I said, just play smarter football.
Yeah, I think don't get too doomsday, Jets fans. This is correctable stuff, and it's mainly confidence. It's mainly trust in yourself. The thing you want from a quarterback or a draft pick, a high draft pick, mainly are guys that have proven they get better at every level. In high school, he did that. He improved. In college, he did that. He improved drastically from freshman year to junior year. And if he does it again at the NFL level, it'll be the same thing Josh Allen did. Josh Allen had the same trajectory where in Wyoming went low to high, with Buffalo low to high. So that's what you got to hope for.
Yeah. All right. Well, in closing, Jet fans, we are 5-3, right?
5-3
in the playoff picture. Second best record. If we get this win, forget it. We're there. But it's gonna be a tough one. But be happy. We had all day Monday, maybe some of Tuesday to be sour about the loss. But the Jets have the right culture there, what they've built. They got the right guys in the building, and every game is going to be tough. Stressful. That's how it is being a Jets fan. But we are having a great year, and I think it's going to continue.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better. And the bye follows next week. Get some guys healthy. We'll see what happens. Don't go all doomsday on us. Like I said, they're having a good season. They have turned this thing around. They have the talent. They have the coaching. Zach Wilson will come along, and we'll find out. We'll find out if he's the guy. I certainly think he is still. He just has to find that trust in himself.
Right.
So we'll see, starting with a good defense this Sunday. All right, Jets fans, until next time, Wayne, we'll see you later.